So welcome here, Lisa. My name is Laurie Gill. I'm the founder and clinical director of the Attachment and Trauma Treatment Center for Healing. We are really thrilled to have Lisa Scandalari on the call with us today from Lisa's Yoga. One of the things that I'm always so grateful for and amazed by in the individual sessions or classes that I've attended with you is your ability to tie in neuroscience, physiology, brain research into the work that you're doing. And as you know, one of the goals that we have at our center is helping clients learn to regulate the brain, mind, body, nervous system simultaneously. And so we're hoping today that you can just share some information, practical strategies and resources that people can use to bring about a sense of emotional balance or affect regulation. And with that, I'd like to turn things over to you to share as you see fit.
Thank you, Laurie. It is so great to be here today. I'm Lisa Scandalari of Lisa's Yoga, and I'm so honored just to be here, just to share some technology with you in regards to your attachment center. I would like to share with you is a little bit about myself.
Beautiful.
And what I do. And for me, I have been teaching and practicing yoga for over 20 years now in the Niagara region, as well as hatha yoga, restorative yoga, kundalini yoga, and taking others on different retreats and workshops. And I really love what I do. You know, my main purpose is to really touch and inspire those, support them in times like these, especially right now, and to offer some service, whether that's a private one-on-one service or whether that's a yoga class or a workshop together. So for me, I find these tools very beneficial. So let me share a little bit about these tools. Kundalini yoga connects with your body, your mind, and your soul. And I find it is such a fast, easy, and simple, efficient way to allow you to control your emotions, your feelings, as well as to help in many, many areas of life. Especially in these times, in these challenging times, it's so important for us to find space right now to breathe. And when you take a deep breath out with that force, or do any segmented breathing patterns, this really activates your vagus nerve. And what does the vagus nerve do? Well, in multiple yoga traditions, it is known as the nerve of compassion. And it's like the longest nerve in the body, and it controls parts of our rest and relax, or that parasympathetic nervous system. So not only is it helping our nerves, but as well as it's ultimately, tapping into our immune system. And especially at this time, we have to maintain that strong immune system. So there's many different breaths that I can share with you, but I'd like to offer one to share with you right now, if you are open to that.
Yes, that would be wonderful.
Okay, so this one here is to really tap in, to that life force. And we know right now, being such a beautiful day out there, it's spring, and we know that the sun is bringing a lot of prana down into the earth, because now is a time of transformation, as well as for all of us to really going inward at this time, because of this time with social distancing. And we know that regeneration is really important. So when we take that awareness of the prana, and what prana means is life force. So right now the sun is drawing all this prana down onto the earth, and so let us draw this prana into our bodies, into our lungs, So there's one breathing technique that is really simple, very effective, especially for this time. So it is a time when, stress is heightened. So this breath is easy. All you have to do is take hold of your hands onto your knees. So you're holding onto your knees, and you're going to, sit up nice and tall and straight, and you're going to take a deep breath in. And as you take the breath in, you're focusing on taking the breath from that lower abdomen, middle, and then top. And then you're going to hold the breath. And as you hold that precious breath, you are going to begin to flex your spine forward and back as the breath is being held in. And you just keep going forward and back until you can't hold the breath any longer. And then slowly be still and exhale that breath out. And then again, you take that deep breath in, focusing on the full capacity of your lungs, filling it up. Flexing the spine now as you hold on to that precious breath. Keep flexing that spine. Breathing is just so important at this time. This is really focusing on impacting your nervous system right now, building stamina, and really increasing the efficiency of your lungs and bringing oxygen right into your blood. And then exhaling completely. And let's do it one more time. So inhaling, holding, flexing that spine, putting a little pressurize. It puts a little pressure on the heart just to regulate itself and adjust itself. And then gently exhale the breath. And just let your breath regulate now. And recognize, from a state of being heightened and feeling the stress that's going on in the world, and to how you are feeling at this moment. And then when you feel ready, just open up your eyes. Oh, how do you feel? Very calm, very relaxed. So just sharing with you, just those little tiny tools allows you to connect with that life force of prana, as well as to really regulate your whole body, mind, and soul, and rejuvenate your body right now.
Wonderful. Thank you for sharing that. That was such a practical tool and very relevant to what we're experiencing right now. From a trauma perspective, the vagal nerve is something that's really key to have tips and tools to learn how to regulate. As you mentioned, it's the largest sensory nerve that runs through our body, and it's so critical for bringing about that sense of affect regulation. And we can use it to stimulate when we're feeling really kind of shut down. We can use it to discharge when we're feeling really too overwhelmed. So I really appreciate that. And that's something that can transfer beyond what is happening now with the state of the world with this virus. It's a day-to-day practice. It's a tool that we can carry with us.
Exactly. And really right now, as you were mentioning earlier, just, connecting with nature, really connecting with nature and really heightening our vibratory frequency. And when we connect with that vibratory frequency, we connect with that connection of love. So we love to walk, we love to hike, we love to, be creative at this time, as well as we're recognizing we're going inward. So meditation and yoga, all of that, so vibrating that higher energy. When we I realize that when we're in fear, well, then our frequency is in that vibration of being low. So maintaining that vibratory frequency right now is so important, Lori, like you mentioned.
Yeah, that's such a great tip. And I think too, for people to understand that, as you mentioned, being out in nature is so critical. We're in this period of like social distancing and being mindful about being around others. But I think that that doesn't mean that we have to be inside 24/7. And we see a lot of people turning to technology, which is what's available to us. But even getting out and going for a mindful walk, even stepping out on your porch, right? Breathing in some air, taking it in with your senses, maybe doing the breath out there. That breath that we just did, I love to do it sitting on the ground cross-legged, right? We could do that on the grass even. And I was just looking at my phone because we just went for a wonderful hike today. And I think what I may do is post some of the pictures as a background while we talk. Because even if people are not comfortable getting outside, we can still bring nature inside. And bringing nature inside to us still has great benefits as well.
Exactly. I think that's a fantastic idea, because what we vibrate, when we do vibrate, we vibrate through our thoughts, we vibrate through our words, our actions, our emotions, our feelings. And what we put out into the universe, we really receive back.
For stress, Lisa, when you think of kind of regulating overwhelm, there are a lot of people that right now are really struggling, people that are not able to work. Finances are a concern, have people that are home and feeling overwhelmed. Like, are there breaths that you would recommend, or mantras or resources for stress, or even postures?
Yes, absolutely. What a great question that is, Lori, especially right now during these times of stress and anxiety. They're running really high. And I love to tell my students and clients that I'm here and I am committed, to all of them, just to support them in any way I can. And whether that's, the other day I had a girl, just call me from work, just sharing, with her job, you know, that she was, feeling very overwhelmed at the bank. And I said to her, why don't you think about that mantra that I taught you? It's a protection mantra. So, mantras are like tools. We can repeat them in our mind, over and over. And it's something, or we can chant them out loud as well on that walk or on that hike. And it does soothe, you know, um, it soothes you, it really taps into a deep connection within your heart. And it brings us out of that emotion of being so stressed, especially right now, being heightened. So I would recommend, a mantra to repeat in their mind. And there's a great mantra that I love, which is the mantra of protection. And there's a lovely artist, musician that does sing that. And her name is Sanatam Kaur, as well as Ajit Kaur. They both have lovely variations of it. So I would highly recommend that. As well as breathing is really, I can't emphasize enough about the breathing. It is so important, especially right now, because right now, as we are being, isolated, so self-distancing, we're really called to connect in new ways. And like you said, being more active on the computer and, Zoom calls or live chats, there, at least then we can really connect with another soul. As well as we're really being called to look at things in new ways, how we can connect with others in a new way, as well as connect with ourselves. Because right now, it is really, right now, just, connecting in that way, we will become more stronger than ever. So it's like this new awareness for us, you know, a new awareness. But as well, I'd like to share, you know, a couple of other strategy tools as breathing. So breathing, like I mentioned, is so important. So for instance, there is a breath that we do, which is called Satali breath, and it is to help eliminate stress. It allows us, especially at this time, you know, when our stress is heightened, it is known as a cooling breath. So for instance, if you were struggling with emotions and you're just caught up in your head and you just can't get out of that headspace, well then this is one that will instantly bring you into a calmer state of mind. So we can cleanse that subconscious mind. And it is through a curling of your tongue, which you stick your tongue out, and that's right, you're sticking your tongue out at me, and you're curling it in a way that allows that prana to enter in nice and smooth and slowly, and then you hold the breath for approximately, you know, a simple count of 4, and then you exhale the breath really slow through the nostrils. And then again, you inhale slowly through a curled tongue, so it looks like this. A very simple tool to really allow you to move into that space of relax, a space of calm, a stress-free space. So I recommend that highly to clients that are suffering with, you know, their stress right now.
Now, Lisa, thank you for sharing that. That's one of my favorite breaths, actually, and I regularly teach that as part of our certification to help people become trauma-informed and do trauma-specific work. But when you spoke about it before, I know one of the things that you shared is it directs the breath to the roof of the mouth, and that is an area where there are many meridian points.
Yes, there are. Right on the roof of our mouth, there are 3 meridian points that stimulate the hypothalamus gland, which then allows us to really stimulate the pituitary gland, which is just above that, to really connect a little deeper within the brain to the pineal gland, which really allows us to move into more of that neutral space of mind. So that neutral space is more of a meditative space. And, you know, that's a space that we want to connect with, and not being in that, you know, heightened space, space of that sympathetic nervous system. So really calming that nervous system right down so that we can really tap into it.
Wonderful. Thank you for that.
Mm-hmm.
And I also remember a modification to that, right? So some people I know, when I've introduced that breath, or when you've introduced that breath in some of our trainings, will say that they don't quite feel they're getting a full breath, or they may find that a little more restrictive. And I know you introduced a breath where we can just like breathe in through the sides of the mouth.
Exactly, the sides of the mouth, because not everyone can curl their tongue. You know, some of us are born that way and some of us aren't. So recommendation would be, you know, just to take the teeth, stick the tongue out and take the teeth and just press very lightly on the tongue. And then what happens is on the sides of your mouth, there's the air can get right in through the side. So you can still get that the sensation as well as the benefits of the breath work.
Wonderful. And I find for a lot of the people that I work with, with trauma, quite often our breathing can be constricted. There's a lot of, with fear and panic, quite often there's the big breath in, right, holding it. And I find some of these adaptations, although you know the deeper science and physiology behind it, which is wonderful, I find even just sometimes the refocusing is wonderful for distraction because it takes the mind off the breath. We get a lot of people that say, oh, I can't breathe, or breathing makes me feel like I'm going to panic, or breathing doesn't feel comfortable. And sometimes it's these simple kind of techniques that are redirecting the attention, and they're a little bit different or novel, that shift and bring about an ability to get that breath in a different or a deeper way.
It does, actually. It gets in so deeper because what happens is we recognize that, it's disease develops in the body. And when it develops in the body, it gets less oxygen and it eliminates less waste. And the brain and the organs and the glands, the disease, they start functioning. So eventually the system starts breaking down. So we prevent ourselves from breaking down through maintaining, the vital capacity just to recognize our breath and use these techniques to really help us, as well as to maintain our mental clarity of mind, and not be caught up in those thoughts that tend to sometimes overcome us, right? So breathing is the tool to maintain that.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Welcome.
Lisa, I know at this time, a lot of people, like I said, are feeling overwhelmed or feeling kind of at a loss for what they can do in a time of uncertainty. And I often tell people that, we can be responsible for ourselves, our emotions, the impact we let things have on us, and for the energy that we're putting out there into the world, whether this is through prayer or, wishes or intentions. I think there are beautiful things that we can do from that energy or intention or prayer perspective when the world is in a state of stress or distress, to try and offer love, peace, kindness to others. And I just wonder whether you have anything that you'd like to add. I know you mentioned a technique that sounds quite lovely, and I'll invite you to share whatever you think is appropriate.
Yes, Lori, especially at this time, prayer intentions are so important. And for me, what I tend to do every single day is this meditation, a mantra meditation. It involves chanting. And chanting really allows you to settle your heart and your mind while really invoking that power and that healing, and blessing each other, especially right now with the world, and sending healing to those that we love and that really need that extra bit of healing. It is so powerful. So let me share that with you today, and it's known as the healing mantra for healing ourselves, healing each other, healing our communities, and healing the world. So may our collective vision of light and love bring healing to darkness and pain. The mantra taps into different energies, and this mantra in particular, it taps into the sun, it taps into the moon, it taps into the earth, the infinite spirit, and it brings deep healing. It can be chanted just to heal self or send, long distance healing to each other. So let us hold our hands all the way up by our rib cage and taking the palms facing upward. And the mantra is in Gurumukhi, which is an Indian language. And it sounds like this: Ra, Ma, Da, Sa, Sa, Se, So, Hung. So like I mentioned, Ra is the sun energy, Ma is the moon energy, Da is the earth energy, and Sa is infinity, universal energy. And Sohang is tapping into I am thou. So let us chant with Sananam Kaur. She's a fantastic musician. And let us begin. Just feel that healing energy as it flows through your central channel of your spine, healing your own body, mind, bringing balance just into the core of our energetic body and flooding it with new, revitalized energy. Sending that healing energy out into our communities, showering them in light and love, and sending healing out into the world where the world needs healing. And now just very gently inhale deeply. And exhale completely. And just place your hands, your left on your heart, your right on top. And just feel that healing energy. And slowly, when you're ready, just open up your eyes. We are all powerful healers, and we have the potential through our intentions, our prayers, to spread healing, to spread light where it is needed most. I'm so grateful. Grateful for this time, this opportunity.
Thank you. I'm so grateful for you and for you sharing your time and your wisdom. And I do hope that this will bring just a pause, even a simple pause or some reprieve or respite to some of the overwhelm or stress that people are feeling. And it just takes seconds to shift our affective state. So weaving in, whether it's chanting, which again regulates the vagal nerve, humming, singing, movement, dancing, doesn't have to be spiritual. It certainly can be for people who have that faith base. But even just, vowel chanting is one that I often teach, right? Just taking even the letter A or E or I or O or U and extending that on the breath. Again, it's the vibrations, the sound of it, the breath that goes with it, incredibly regulating. So there's so many wonderful things we can do, and I really appreciate you sharing your knowledge and wisdom with us today.
Lori?
Thank you. And just so everyone is aware, Lisa does do individual sessions with clients through Attach. That's something that's available. She's kindly offered to lead some groups for us as well if there's enough interest. And we may look at doing something online depending on how long things remain in this state. So if that's something you're interested in, please contact our office, and you can learn more about Lisa and the classes that she offers and things that she teaches on her website. Lisa's Yoga, but what is your actual website, Lisa?
It is Lisa's Yoga,
Yes.
www.lisasyoga.com.
Wonderful. And thank you so much again for your time.
Thank you, Lori. It was fun.
Oh, good, good, good. All right. So